Good evening. Welcome to Wednesday night Chaitanya Charitamrita reading and discussion with the Prabhupada Disciples Association Hare Krishna Society production. And we have over 200 classes registered on our YouTube channel Hare Krishna Society. So please, for all of you new people that are joining us, you can refer back to these older classes and see the progression that we're making moving forward week after week. In this Shravanam Kirtanam program of hearing from the pure devotee A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada from his unadulterated, unedited books, which is the key to understanding Krishna consciousness. And I was thinking today, it's amazing the time that we live in, 2024, because there is an ongoing debate about Vani Vapu, where some people are claiming that Vapu, the Vapu sound of elected gurus, is more important than the Vani sound of a pure devotee. And categorically, there is no doubt that the Vani incarnation of Srila Prabhupada is most manifested in this day and age than any other acharya in the history of Chaitanya, Vaishnavism, or the Hare Krishna mission from Lord Krishna. Never before has there been so many recorded lectures and written documents and letters given by a pure devotee Krishna. And remember this, everyone, that whatever the Acharya says, whatever he speaks, this is Shastra. Why? Because he is representing purely the words of Krishna. Prabhupada used to enjoy listening to his books being read to him. And he commented that these books were written by Krishna, not by him. So this is the position of the pure devotee of Krishna. The words that he speaks are so deep, so meaningful, so enlightening, that when you hear them, you can extract so much meaning from them. And it really is ecstasy, absolutely ecstatic to hear Prabhupada speak. I've been mentioning to some of my godbrothers, I had a talk with Bhakta Ram Singh today. I was telling him, and I've been mentioning it on our introductions to these programs, that I've been listening to the same 3 lectures of Srila Prabhupada for the last few months, every time I'm in the car. And every time I hear the lectures, I get captivated by them. There's so much depth, so much realization in Prabhupada's words that are available to his serious disciples. If you're not serious, Prabhupada said, if you're not serious about spiritual life, you don't need a guru. A guru is not for fashion. Although some people think, I must have a guru. I must have a Vani or a Vapu guru, someone I can look at and he can talk to me. What good is that if the person is not an Uttama Adhikari, if he's elected by a body of people that claim to be superior in their understanding of this philosophy than Prabhupada's simple instructions that he repeats day after day, week after week, in all of his instructions that he's given us. And these things we prove every class, every reading and discussion, that there's nothing better than hearing the pure message from the pure devotee to give us the ultimate understanding of what this process, Tatvavit, the truth about Kṛṣṇa. It comes directly from the transparent via media of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, our spiritual master. This is something that those devotees, Prabhupada says, that have the capacity to understand this will appreciate very much and will not be interested in hearing the second-rate discussions given by these so-called elected gurus in other organizations. So this is a great opportunity for all of us, and we want to thank everyone who's participating with us on this weekly sadhana program for helping to inspire everyone to continue on with this process despite Prabhupada's situation of being minimized in the other movements. And we're going to go forward again with the reading of the diaries, which we've found very, how can I say, enlivening, informative, educational, because it's coming right from Srila Prabhupada himself directly, not being interpreted, not being concocted, not being manufactured by anyone, simply the information directly from his handwriting of what he was doing in the early years of 1966 back in New York City. So we'll go back in time to February 16th, 1966. And Prabhupada, as you know, has just moved to his new apartment where he's paying, I believe it's $75 or $70 a month. And here he's writing, "Today I have sent reminders to Srila Tirtha Maharaj and Sripad Ban Maharaj." These are his godbrothers back in India. And he's trying to encourage them to help him participate in his mission of Sankirtan in America. Does he get a response that's positive? No. And I had the chance to meet with Ban Maharaj in 1974 in Toronto, and that's another pastime we can discuss later. Saw Mr. Banerjee and Bogart. Letter received from Mr. Morrow. He's not agreeable. So here Prabhupada's going through a series of rejections and difficulty in getting some momentum behind his preaching work. He had an expenditure of a bus fare of 30 cents. And Ekadasi surpassed to observe tomorrow on Dwadasi. And here we take a look at the picture here. This is Prabhupada in his room. Look at these lights, a humble situation, no desk, no facility, no phone, just him, meticulously focused on spreading Kṛṣṇa consciousness back in 1966. Thursday, February 17th, 1966. So today, Ekadasi is observed. Mr. Bogart met with, and he is handed over a letter. He promised action. My expenditure was bus fare 30 cents. And this is Paul Murray, who turned out to be rather a nutty boy. Introduction to Mr. Cohen, took one set of books, price to be realized. One letter received from United States Navigation regarding NV Jaladuta starting on the 24th. 13, the note, Paul Murray, and 14, Prabhupada had come from India on board the Jaladuta, a freight of the Sindhya steamship line owned by Sumati Maharajji, who I also had the grace to meet in Bombay. Friday, February 18th, shipping company replied, proposed starting by Jaladuta. One letter forwarded for Captain Pandya. He's the captain of the Jaladuta. Received a letter from Surya Kumar, and we'll read that on Saturday morning, asking me to write to the Prime Minister and the copy of the letter sent to him. So I sent one letter to the Prime Minister and a copy to Surya Kumar for necessary action. Copy of Sri Padman Pat's letter sent. 2 other letters also dispatched as follows. The ambassador for Nepal for an interview, and the ambassador of India requesting him to arrange for my meeting with the president, USA. So Prabhupada's shooting for rhinoceros, trying to win big, even though he is a man living in an apartment with no bathroom facilities and no kitchen. But is he thinking small? No. He's thinking the world. This is how we should look at our own devotional service. 2 sets of books brought from Paragon. The man declines to deliver books like this. Sally has not sent the books as yet. An expenditure bus fare, 15 cents. So it appears it's 15 cents one way. So it was 30 cents. When he says 30 cents, it's both ways. Dr. Mishra asked me to come to the ashram, but I didn't go. It's simply a waste of time. So, very discriminate use of time. And we should also take heed of this message. Don't waste time with useless people. That's what was happening for Prabhupada. And we cannot waste our time with people that are not serious about what we're talking about in terms of Srila Prabhupada and his position. One Polish lady paid me the other day $1. And so Prabhupada's moving forward. And on Saturday morning, we'll read the letter that he wrote for the to try to get a meeting with the Prime Minister of India. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Glories to the Sankirtan movement. Let's move forward with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, and then our reading and discussion headed up by our sadhu in station in the mountains of Twainhart, California, Yashodanandana Prabhu. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Banachari. Jamuna Tira Banachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jai Amasvat Paramahansa Paribhrajagacharya Sattvaresvara Samadhati Dhanta Saraswati Goswami Bhagavad Ki Jai Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Ki Jai Navacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Mokh Gopinath Sam Khanda Radha Khanda Giri Godhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Guru Dwarka Dham Ki Jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, all glories to their Summit. All glories to their Summit. Thank you very much.
All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Glories to you, Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya Narayanam namaskritya Naram cheva narottamam Naram cheva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet Tato jayam mudirayet. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very, very important literature, which Srila Prabhupada called the postgraduate study of spiritual life. Before we begin the reading itself, we will read a few verses from the Adi Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which explains the benefit and importance of hearing this great transcendental literature. This is from Adi Lila chapter 1, text number 18, all the way through 22. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Glory to Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda. Glory to Advaita Chandra, and glory to all the devotees of Sri Gaura, Lord Chaitanya. Etina Thakur Gaudiya ke karye chenayat masat Itinera Charana Vandana Tire Morenat. These three deities of Vrindavana, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinatha, have absorbed the heart and soul of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, followers of Lord Chaitanya. I worship their lotus feet, for they are the lords of my heart. Grantera Rambi Karimangala Charana Guru Vaishnav Bhagavan Tinera Smaharana. In the beginning of this narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotees of the Lord, and the personality of Godhead, I have invoked their benedictions. Tinera Smaraneyai Vigna Vinashana Anayasaya Indvinijavan Chita Purana. Such remembrance destroys, such remembrance destroys all difficulties and very easily enables one to fulfill his own desires. Text number 22. Semangala Charana Ai Trivida Prakar Vastu Nirdesha Chiravada Namaskara. The invocation involved three processes: defining the objective, offering benedictions, and offering obeisances. As we often do before we begin the reading itself, I'm going to read one or two little quotations from Prabhupada about the importance of this reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is from a lecture that was given in Mayapur, India on March 1st, 1974. March 1st, 1974, a lecture on Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 7.1. Srila Prabhupada, this is the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, appearance site of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sridham Mayapur. So in this place, this is the appropriate literature, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We may try to discuss during these holy days. Last year, some gentleman suggested, after seeing my all literatures, that you kindly write a translation of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. He thought that this business I can do very nicely. So I took the initiation from this gentleman and began to write. Now it is almost complete. I'm now translating Madhya Lila 20th chapter, the discussion Sanatana Shiksha. So it is estimated that 10 volumes like this, you think like that, 10 volumes like this, that will complete Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita is the postgraduate study of Krishna consciousness. The Bhagavad Gita is the ABCD to entrance, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the graduate study, and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is the postgraduate study of spiritual life. My Guru Maharaj, His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, whenever he got some time, he used to read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he predicted that the whole world liked to read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and for this reason they'll learn Bengali. Therefore, following his footsteps, I've kept the Bengali character and tried to give the literary meaning of each word of the Bengali poem. This is, of course, Sanskrit. This book is full of Sanskrit verses. Some of them are composed by the author himself, Kaviraj Goswami, and some of them are quoted from various literature, Vedic literature. So today we will be reading from chapter 4 of the Adi Lila, text number 153. All synonyms, translations, and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Text 153. Gopyascha Krishnam upalabhya chiradabhishtam tat prekshane didrishu pakshma hritam shapanti dribbe hridikritam malam paribhya sarvas tad bhavamapurapi nitya yujam durapam. Gopyaha, the gopis, cha, and Krishnam, Lord Krishna, upalabhya, seeing, chirat, after a long time, abhishtam, desired object, yat prekshane, in the seeing of whom, drishishu, in the eyes, pakshmakritam, the maker of eyelashes, shapanti, curse, drigbihi, with the eyes, ridikritam, who entered the heart, alam, enough, parirabhya, embracing, sarvaha, all, tadbhavam, that highest stage of joy, apuhu, obtain, api, although, nityayujam, by perfected yogis, durapam, difficult to obtain. Translation. The gopis saw their beloved Krishna at Kurukshetra after a long separation. They secured and embraced him in their hearts through their eyes, and they attain a joy so intense that not even perfect yogis can attain it. The gopis cursed the Creator for creating eyelids that interfered with their vision. Purport. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:82-40. Text 154. Krishna valokana vina netra phala nayan ye jana Krishna deke se bhagyavan. Krishna, Lord Krishna, avalokana, looking at, vina, without, netra, the eyes, phala, fruit, nahi, not, ana, other, ye, who, jana, the person, Krishna, Lord Krishna, deke, sees, say, he, bhagyavan, very fortunate. Translation. There is no other consummation for the eyes than the sight of Krishna. Whoever sees him is most fortunate indeed. Text 155. Akshan vatam phalamidam naparam vidamaha sakyaha pashun anuveshayatora vayasyaihi Vaktram vrajesha sutayoranuvenu justam yerva nipitam anurakta kataksham akshan vatam, of those who have eyes, phalam, the fruit, idam, this, na, not, param, other, vidamaha, we know, sakyaha, of friends, pasun, the cows, anuveveshayatahu, causing to enter one forest from another, vayasyai, with their friends of the same age, vaktram, the faces, vrajaisha, of Maharaj Nanda, sutayoho, of the two sons, anuvenu justam, possessed of flutes, yea, by which, va, or, nipitam, imbibed, anurakta, loving, kata aksha, glances, moksham, giving off. Translation. The gopis say, O friends, those eyes that see the beautiful faces of the sons of Maharaj Nanda are certainly fortunate. As these two sons enter the forest surrounded by their friends, driving the cows before them, They hold their flutes to their mouths and glance lovingly upon the residents of Vrindavana. For those who have eyes, we think there is no greater object of vision. Purport. Like the gopis, one can see Krishna continuously if one is fortunate enough. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that sages whose eyes have been smeared with the ointment of pure love can see the form of Shyamasundar, Krishna, continuously in the centers of their hearts. This text from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:21-7 was sung by the gopis on the advent of the Sarat season. Text 156. Gopyastapakemacharan yadamushya rupam lavanya saram asamurdvamananya siddham drigbihi pibanti anusavabhinavam durapam ekanta dhama yashasaha shriya esvarayasya. Gopyaha, the gopis, tapaha, austerities, kim, what, acharan, perform, yat, from which, amushya, of such a one, Lord Krishna, rupam, the form, lavanyasaram, the essence of loveliness, asama urdvam, not parallel or surpassed, ananya siddham, not perfected by any other ornament, self-perfect, drigbihi, by the eyes, pibanti, they drink, anusava abhinavam, constantly new, durapam, difficult to obtain, ekanta dhama, the only abode, yashasaha, of fame, shriyaha, of beauty, Eshvarasya, of opulence. Translation. The women of Mathura say, what austerities must the gopis have performed? With their eyes, they always drink the nectar of the face of Lord Krishna, which is the essence of loveliness and is not to be equaled or surpassed. That loveliness is the only abode of beauty, fame, and opulence. It is self-perfect, ever fresh, and extremely rare. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This text from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:44-14 was spoken by the women of Mathura when they saw Krishna and Balaram in the arena with King Kamsa's great wrestlers Mushtika and Chanura. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadeshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhakti Vedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandanam Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshatah Adadhanastrinam Danter Hidam Yachi Punaha Punaha Srimad Rupa Padam Bhoja Dhulishyam Janma Janmani Hamsho Bhagavatu Smyaham Sadadasu Asmi Sarvata Tatkripa Pikshako Nityam Tatprishta Shatakaromishvam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in this section, we have very nice description in citations from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who is giving so many evidences from the Srimad Bhagavatam about the unique transcendental beauty and position of Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada was once asked, when Krishna was present on this planet, how many persons really understood him as the personality of Godhead? And Prabhupada said very few. The Pandavas, a few associates in Vrindavan like Nanda Maharaj, Mother Yashoda, the Gopis, very few people understood him as the Supreme Lord. We see in the Krishna book, there are so many stories of great kings who challenged Krishna. Everybody has heard the story of Pandraka, who was an envious rascal who presented himself with 4 arms and disguised himself just like Krishna, challenging Krishna and basically insulting Krishna. Such an imitator who thought that he had become greater than Krishna. So Krishna disposed of him, got rid of this nonsense demon. We see also that when Krishna attempted to solve the problem of the upcoming Mahabharata war, some personalities did not want to listen to Krishna. Krishna went to see Duryodhana, and he went to see him with the aim of trying to prevent the war of Kurukshetra. Now, we all know that the Kauravas had usurped the kingdoms meant for the Pandavas. They had stolen the kingdom. So Krishna went to see Duryodhana, trying to put some good sense to him that he should not behave like this, that he should give the Pandavas back their kingdom. But Duryodhana did not want to listen. Even Krishna showed him his universal form, still he would not listen. So there are always a class of people who do not want to accept Krishna as the Supreme Godhead. The entire 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Dasamaskanda, is full of so many stories. We are very familiar with the story of Shishupal. Shishupal had insulted Krishna in so many ways. So in the assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthira, he hurled so many insults towards Krishna that finally many of the participants in the Rajasuya assembly, they wanted to kill Shishupal for his offensive, blasphemous behavior. So finally Krishna solved the problem. He uses Sudarshan Chakra to cut his head off. So the point is, not everybody understood the greatness of Lord Krishna. Very few people understood. Similarly, what we see presently is many persons, although they've come in contact with a pure devotee of Krishna, with the ambassador of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with his bona fide transcendental emissary, still they have a hard time understanding. Now, we do not say that they are demons. They may be persons with a poor fund of knowledge, or persons who are bewildered or ambitious, but it is quite obvious that many of these persons currently do not understand the position of the pure devotee of Lord Krishna, Srila Prabhupada. And this is very important to understand. What is the position of a pure devotee? There's a nice lecture from Srila Prabhupada in Auckland, New Zealand, on February 20, 1973. February 20, 1973. This is a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam 119, where Prabhupada explains, but the direction should be taken from scriptures. But there are many scriptures. So Acharya means just like Goswamis. They would read all the scriptures and take the essence of it and give it to his disciples. That you act like this because he knows what to give, how to manipulate, so that his ekantata shreyas will be achieved. Ultimate goal, that is Acharya. Therefore, the Acharya knows how to adjust things. At the same time, keep pace with the spiritual interests. It is not the same thing to be applied everywhere. He is eager to engage actually the people in the real benefit of life. But the means may be different, just like my Guru Maharaj. It is the first time that he allowed the sannyasis to drive in motor car. The sannyasi never drives in a motor car. You see, but not for sense gratification. Suppose we are going by airplane. A sannyasi should walk. The Jain sannyasis, they never ride on a car. You know that. You know that. They will never ride on a car, but now they're also riding. But suppose we're preaching now. I came from India. If I were to say, I'm a sannyasi, I will not ride in a car or airplane. I must walk. Then what kind of preaching there would have been? You see, so therefore it depends on the Acharya how to adjust things. So my Guru Maharaj, all right, go on preaching on a motor car, it doesn't matter. These Goswamis, they went to Vrindavana, the severest type of austerities. They used to live underneath a tree. Now, if in this age I advise you that you also live underneath a tree, then it will be difficult to preach, you see. Nobody is accustomed in that way, such severe type of austerity. They must be given as far as possible comfortable accommodation, otherwise they will not come. They will not take. Now this is adjustment. The Acharya knows how to adjust things. The real purpose is how one will take to spiritual consciousness or Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Keeping one's aim to that point, some concession may be given. As far as possible, keeping pace with the time, circumstances then. The sages therefore inquired, Hare Krishna. I have to cut it here. I have a little bit of an emergency outside. Vishwakarma, you may take over. Hare Krishna.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So very, very interesting points about the position of the Acharya and his ability to give vision to his disciples, because it is through the transparent via media of the pure devotee that one can see Kṛṣṇa. Prabhupada mentioned in a lecture, Dharma Bhavana today, that one should not try to see Kṛṣṇa. But Prabhupada said, his Guru Maharaj said, one should act in such a way that Kṛṣṇa will see him. So the position of the devotee is to attract Kṛṣṇa through his devotional service. Now, Kṛṣṇa also says, one who says he is my devotee is not my devotee, but one who is the devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. So in this way, we have to understand that the bridge to the spiritual world comes through the association of the pure devotee. And I hope I sent that message to our production manager, that I wanted to read a section. I'm reading forward right now in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ancha Lila, which has 3 different sections that have been featured The one was the pastimes of Haridas Thakur and the importance of the holy names, how Kṛṣṇa, you see Kṛṣṇa in his form of the holy name. Because Kṛṣṇa, his name is non-different. His form is the same. So like this, one always engages in chanting the holy name. Then I read the pastimes of Sanatana Goswami, and very interesting pastimes. And now I'm up to Ramananda Roy instructs Pradyumna Mishra. And I would recommend to all of you, if you get a chance, read forward in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and relish these pastimes that are given by the Lord. And we're going to read a special section here on Anchalila chapter 5, text 85. Anchalila chapter 5, text 85. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, thank you, preached about devotional service, ecstatic love, and the absolute truth by making Ramananda Roy, a Grihasta born in a low family, the speaker. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, the exalted Brahman sannyasi, and Pradyumna Mishra, the purified Brahmin, both became the hearers of Ramananda Roy. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here is a nectar purport by Prabhupada, speaking about the qualifications of Jagat Guru. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in his Amrita Prava Bhashya that sannyasis in the line of Shankaracharya always think that they have performed all the duties of the Brahmins, and that furthermore, having understood the essence of Vedanta Sutra and become sannyasis, they are the natural spiritual masters of all society. Similarly, persons born in Brahmin families think that because they execute the ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Vedas and follow the principles of the Smriti, they alone can become spiritual masters of society. These highly exalted Brahmins think that unless one is born in a Brahmin family, one cannot become a spiritual master and teach the absolute truth. To cut down the pride of these birthright Brahmins and Mayavadi sannyasis, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proved that a person like Ramananda Roy, although born in a Sudra family and situated in the Grihasta ashram, can become the spiritual master of such exalted personalities as himself and Pradyumna Mishra. Here is the key. A person, excuse me, to cut down the pride of the brother. Cut down the pride of these birthright Brahmins and prove that a person like, although born in a Sudra family and situated, can become the spiritual master of such exalted personalities as himself and Pradyumna Mishra. This is the principle of the Vaishnava cult as advanced in the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A person who knows what is spiritual and what is material and who is firmly fixed in the spiritual position can be Jagat Guru, the spiritual master of the entire world. So it's by qualification, not by election. One cannot become Jagat Guru simply by advertising oneself as Jagat Guru without knowing the essential principles for becoming Jagat Guru. Srila Prabhupada, of course, demonstrated these qualities in his life's work. Even people who never see what a Jagat Guru is and never talk with other people become puffed up sannyasis and declare themselves Jagat Gurus. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not like this. Any person who knows the science of Kṛṣṇa and who is fully qualified in spiritual life can become Jagat Guru. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally took lessons from Sri Ramananda Roy and also sent Pradyumna Mishra, an exalted Brahmin, to take lessons from him. Now, in this particular case, we're seeing that Prabhupada demonstrated by his service that he was the Jagat Guru for everyone. Yashodanandana Prabhu, please, if you could further comment.
Now, this is a very important point. There is another conversation, reading that I want to have here. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 4, text number 63. Canto 9, Chapter 4, text number 63. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahmana, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent, because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires. I sit only within the cores of their hearts. What to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. Purport. All the great stalwart personalities in the universe, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, are fully under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is fully under the control of his devotee. Why is this? Because the devotee is anyapilashita shunya. In other words, he has no material desires in his heart. His only desire is to think always of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how to serve him best. Because of this transcendental qualification, the Supreme Lord is extremely favorable to the devotees. Indeed, not only the devotees, but also the devotees of the devotees. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, Chadiya Vaishnav Seva Nishtar Payache Kebo. Without being a devotee of a devotee, one cannot be released from material entanglement. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu identified himself as Gopi Bhartuhu Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Nudasaha, from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 1380. Thus he instructed us to become not directly servants of Kṛṣṇa, but servant of the servant of Kṛṣṇa. Devotees like Brahma, Narada, Vyasadeva, and Shukadev Goswami are directly servants of Kṛṣṇa. And one who becomes a servant of Narada, Vyasadeva, and Shukadev, like the 6 Goswamis, is still more devoted. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur therefore says, Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasadaha. If one very sincerely served the spiritual master, Kṛṣṇa certainly becomes favorable to such a devotee. Following the instructions of a devotee is more valuable than following the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. And let me read that last sentence again. Following the instructions of a devotee is more valuable than following the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. Now, this is quite significant because we see that there's a class of people, although they claim to be Vaishnavas, but what we see is all sorts of distortions and misinterpretation of Prabhupada's position, of the position of an exalted, completely verified, bona fide, transcendental pure devotee, an eternally liberated soul. Now, this is very important to understand the position of such a person, because we see all kinds of outlandish statements, because many people like to emphasize their vapu over Prabhupada's Vani. And the way they do this, they claim, oh, you so many devotees, you don't understand the difference between manifested and non-manifested. Prakat and aprakat. Prakat means manifested, aprakat means non-manifested. Well, Prabhupada has described this nicely in his books and in his teachings. It's not difficult to understand, except that they've turned the whole thing around. Prabhupada, it is well known to any devotee who has read Prabhupada's books that he is always saying that Vani is more important than Vanu, than Vapu. There are dozens, hundreds of quotes on this very point. But they are preaching that their Vapu and their physical position is more important than Prabhupada's Vani. They refuse to give the emphasis to Srila Prabhupada. This is a very dangerous position. And devotees can counteract this very easily by taking shelter of Prabhupada's instructions. Taking full shelter of Prabhupada's instructions, then everything can be understood properly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yes, and it's, as I mentioned earlier to all of us, the Vani incarnation of Prabhupada is most freely available to all of us in the thousands of lectures that are recorded online. This is a very interesting time in history where the human society is able to capture the lives and activities of people through technology. And it is a great blessing that all the devotees, if you look Dharma Bhavana, all the pictures that you see online that are posted of Prabhupada, there are thousands and thousands of photos of him in every kind of situation. There are thousands of lectures. You can listen unlimitedly to Prabhupada speak and give very clear insight into how to become Krishna conscious for all sincere followers of him. Let me say this, Dharma Bhavana. You can listen to one of Prabhupada's lectures, like I'm listening to this. I was talking to Ron Singh today about it. This one lecture from Vrindavan on October 2nd, 1972. If you just hear that one lecture over and over again, you can capture the whole philosophy of Krishna consciousness and the deep meanings of it through Prabhupada's words, better than any lecture by any of these so-called elected gurus in the society that he created. How can they match up? They're like little ants beside the elephant of knowledge. Prabhupada is the literary incarnation of Krishna in the modern age, beyond a doubt. You read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I'm blessed again, and I think I would encourage everyone to follow these instructions from Bhakti Siddhanta and Srila Prabhupada, especially us older devotees, to constantly read Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm reading it for the 5th time, and I'm just barely getting some insight from it in this fallen state. But still, by carrying on this process, there is no loss or diminution. That this Krishna consciousness, I spoke about it earlier, Yashodanandana, the Krishna conscious bank account, where you put these assets into your spiritual bank account. The imperishable science of Krishna consciousness cannot be dissipated or destroyed by anything. And it is always eternally given benefit to you as long as you keep practicing it. Do not give up. This is not the way we should be. Dharma Bhavana, maybe you could share your insights on today's talk with us out of Dallas, Texas. Dharma Bhavana.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yeah, that's probably one of the best classes we ever had, at least to me. A beautiful class. You read almost my favorite purport from Chaitanya Charitamrita about Pradyumna Mishra. And what happened today, sometimes just in case you call on me, I write down a few notes before the class even begins. And is what commonly happens, the class was about my notes. And I'm just reflecting back how one of the more important things we talk about is yukta vairagya. We use a microphone, dictaphone, car, and computer. And this Zoom class is kind of a wonderful exhibition of that. We don't know what will happen in the future, but now we're communicating with devotees around the world. It's a pretty wonderful thing. But in the beginning, guys, when I was a brahmachari, a lot of us became devotees from either the books, prasadam, Shira Prabhupada. We were attracted by one or more of these things, or all the different things. And at the right time in our life, we were presented with a chance to, in some ways, change our whole lives completely, giving up everything we had before. And I remember the brahmachari ashram, I really didn't know kind of what the whole experience would become like. We just thought it would be a good thing, and we're very, very attracted. And after a few weeks, one time, one of the brahmacharis got mad at another brahmachari. And I started thinking, wow, I didn't know devotees could get mad at each other. It just happened. It was just kind of like that. So this kind of, after Prabhupada departed, this kind of meltdown happened. And a lot of us were thinking, wow, I didn't sign up for this. But it looks like Krishna is teaching us that to be a yogi, you're supposed to be determined in all circumstances. So he's presenting various devotees with various challenges in their lives, but at least we have devotee association. So it's more of a beautiful thing. And I was reading today, one of the devotees wrote, Prabhupada's early secretaries, was talking about how Srila Bhaktisivana Saraswati, he was the greatest astrologer in India. He even chalked out the disappearance days of Narottam Das Thakur and some all the great acharyas. But he did not practice this after starting his mission. And so I was just thinking about all these different things today. There's a few comments I have. Thank you, Haribol.
It's true. The Krishna consciousness movement, the whole thing is a wonderful pastime. We should look at it that way. From 65 up to 2024. Because I was talking to Ron Singh about it. When we refer to ISKCON, we refer to Prabhupada's movement. Now, the movement has changed, where there's all different types of groups in the so-called legal society of ISKCON. And you have what was started and is still the zonal guru system, that the gurus break out different parts of the world for their empires. And then they work on accumulating disciples for them. And they run their own individual guru cults. So that's one aspect of it. Then you have these different camps, the Prabhupada Nuga camp that emerged. Then you have this term Ritvikism, which was given, I think, by Hridayananda and maybe someone else, which describes people that do not accept the elected guru system and then determine that people can become Prabhupada disciples by initiation through themselves or a group of people. So we have all these different groups. You have the group in England, the Kṛṣṇa Kant group. You have the Purujit group, Matchless Gifts. You have the Radhanath Swami group. You have the Bhakti Vikash group. You have the Gopal Krishna group. You have the Jaya Pataka group. They're all different groups. And we have our own particular, it's all a pastime. But the one thing that we should know, that in all these groups, if they do not stress the position of Prabhupada as the pure devotee, representative of Krishna, and the conduit for getting Krishna consciousness for their personal advancement, they cannot connect properly with this Vaishnava disciplic succession. It is all a hoax. It's a fake, posturing, pretending, posing, and it goes on relentlessly right in front of our eyes. Dharma Bhavana. Did you see the show on TV? And by the way, this Peacock show that's being broadcast, you know how many subscribers they have on Peacock television?
A lot. It's become big. Yeah.
I'll tell you, 30 million.
Oh my God.
They have 30 million subscribers, and they're showing this miniseries constantly. And not only are they showing it there, it's also come on to mainstream television in America anyway. And that's being broadcast on cable and internet TV everywhere. So these topics that are brought up, that we bring up in terms of the bona fide guru, are being discussed by Malati. They're being discussed by former guru, as announced on the show, Hridayananda, former guru Bhagawan Das, former guru. What is this? What kind of hypocrisy, what kind of nonsense is going on after Prabhupada's disappearance? It is complete chaos. Absolutely chaos. And Prabhupada predicted this, and this has been the result of this elected guru system that has entered and destroyed the Chaitanya Vaishnavism Sampradaya, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya for the modern world. Ridiculous. We'll try to get to that, Garuda, that you were interviewed. I'm going to ask Jonas Priya in Hawaii if he could please make a few comments in terms of the subjects tonight that we've been reviewing. Jonas Priya.
Hare
Haribol.
Krishna, glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. Yeah, just like Jasoda Maharaj was talking about how when Krishna was on the planet, very few people knew who he was. In the same way, I still don't know who Srila Prabhupada is, but at least I want to. So that's a good point to start if we want to. But we see that these people simply, they didn't care who Prabhupada was. They knew what they wanted, and that was the whole plan. So as soon as they could, they put their plan in action, and they think they got what they wanted, but what they really got is some karma that I wouldn't want to wish on my very worst enemy. As we know, that offense to a pure devotee, it's not a good business to get into, period. So we're safer by understanding that if we want to please Prabhupada, if we want to see, I don't want to see Krishna, I want to see Prabhupada. I'd rather see Prabhupada. Why? Because he is my link to Krishna.
Yeah.
And he told us, if you want to become friends with a very, very rich person, if you see him, then you go and give a little bone to his dog, and he'll be so happy. And Prabhupada, so humble, he said, I am Krishna's dog. So we love Srila Prabhupada and his humble ways and his humor. Prabhupada definitely had a humor. One occasion, a lady was cleaning, and Prabhupada was sitting either in the Vyasa on a chair, and she needed to clean behind Prabhupada. And she was almost leaning, and Prabhupada saw that she was hesitating, and he looked at her and says, "For serving Krishna, you could step on my head." So this is Prabhupada kindness. Prabhupada gave us, is still giving us so many opportunities. If we simply have that smallest desire to serve Prabhupada, Prabhupada has a plan for us. Whether you want a big plan, a medium plan, or a large plan, Prabhupada has a plan for every single one of us. It's just simply for us to say, okay, I'm here. What do you want me to do? And we don't need to wait, because he told us what we need to do, which is simply Don't concoct, don't invent, simply repeat what I have given you. Why? Because this comes straight from Krishna. So if we follow in Srila Prabhupada to the letter, we can rest assured that we're good with Krishna. And so that's the fastest way to attain some little advancement in devotional life. And this idea that Bani is less important than Bapu, this is such a big misconception. And they're promoting this living guru philosophy, which is totally bogus. There's plenty of instances where many great personalities have taken initiation through pictures of the gurus, back going hundreds of years. So it's not a new idea. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta did it. He gave himself sannyas. Why? Because there were no sannyasis. In Bhakti Vinod Thakur Munda and Namaha, they were all Babachis and they were all householders. So Bhakti Siddhanta started sannyas. Why? Because in India, if you're a sannyas, people will respect you, and he knew that. So he knew if he started this order of sannyas, then people will listen, and it did work. Bhakti Siddhanta initiated 60,000 people and established 64 mats. And he simply followed the parampara. He did not make anything up. So this is our key, that what we preach, we're simply presenting what we heard from our spiritual master. Then that measures, because it's pure, unadulterated measures, the effect will be 100% on anybody that listens. Or even any type of preaching, if we distribute prasadam, if we do it the way Prabhupada told us how to offer the food, and we offer it to the people, then they're going to get that benefit, and that's the beginning of their spiritual life. I think that's all I got for now. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I appreciate this society, this movement, this you Prabhus, that they're so spending your time. People don't realize that to produce these programs is a lot of work. It's then they just manifest. This is a production, and it takes a lot of work. And to do this for a year or 2 years and never miss a program, all glories to your service. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. I wanted to mention about miracles, Yashoda. Prabhupada was saying in the lecture recently, and I've mentioned this recently, that people were telling him, oh, you've created so many miracles. You've created all these miracles with your preaching work. And Prabhupada responded like this. He goes, miracles, there are many miracles. Miracles I don't know. I don't know any miracles. But if there is one miracle that I without any mental concoction, without any change. And this was the situation that went on, as you mentioned, about the Gaudiya Math. Think about it. There were 60 temples in India during the time of Bhakti Siddhanta. And after he left, they were fighting over the properties. And they were trying to establish their own particular empires in these different individual temples. And they were ambitious for money. So Prabhupada had experienced himself practically what happened to the Gaudiya Math. And he was expressing it during his time with us to warn us, don't do this. There's so many different letters that he sent out, so many different speeches that he made, so many different directions that he gave. And still, these GBC people ignored everything. Everything. Look what happened, Ron Singh. What happened to Jayatirtha? I'm not going to mention it. Everybody knows. What happened to Tamal Kṛṣṇa on leaving Mayapur? What happened to him? This is karma. This is not just by chance or by accident. If you offend the pure devotee, you will be punished. And we've seen that punishment go on even in this lifetime with many, many people. Dharma Bhavana. What happened to Keith Ham in New Vrindavan? I'll tell you what happened to him for pedophilia and child molestation and for fraud and for murder. I'll tell you what happened to him. He was almost beaten to death with a pipe. Then after that, they put him in jail for 12 years and he got out in 7. He was never the same. Then he was exiled and kicked out of the mission. And he ended up in India and died a miserable death. You see the pictures of him that they post online. Look at all the other things that, look what has happened to certain people that have been crippled. My friend Patita Pavana talks about that. He calls it disease hell. They're in a body, but their body has been completely destroyed by disease, by accepting 50,000 disciples. Would you like to live like that, Dharma Bhavana? To see the way that is? I don't think so. I had my own situation in Toronto, just so everybody knows. We had some people, God brothers, who planted guns in the building and called the police on us and had Murli Kṛṣṇa, our vice president, arrested. We lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. We had all kinds of bad publicity in the newspapers. Hare Krishnas have guns. We had nothing to do with it. It was planted by Indians. And guess what happened? 2 of them got murdered within the next 10 years. One of them, that was the conspirator, got shot to death. He was worth $76 million. And look what happened to him. He got up in the morning and went to his car. Some guy snuck up from behind a bush and shot him in the head. And another one, a radio personality, Lolly Vidge, was murdered in a parking lot by Chin Radio. And both of these people were main perpetrators against Radha Gopinath at the Toronto Temple. And when it happened, I showed my son in the newspaper. This is what you call bad karma. So karma exists for people that offend the pure devotee, and they offend the devotees who are committed to the preaching work of Lord Chaitanya. Yashodanandana Prabhu, if you could further comment.
This is very interesting discussion. I was told one time by Guru Das, we were in the Radha Damodar temple in 1972. And Srila Prabhupada had given Guru Das an instruction that all of his trunks, there were several big trunks of Srila Prabhupada's belongings when he was in his pharmacy work in Allahabad. And he told us to get rid of everything. And Guru Das told Prabhupada, you want us to throw everything out? Prabhupada said, yes. Now the problem we had, we looked in the trunk, and there were many of Prabhupada's writings. There was all kinds of copies of the Easy Journey to Other Planets. There was copies of Prabhupada's original translation of the Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So Guru Das decided, no, we're not going to toss those out, but all of the other pharmaceutical things and glass bottles and things. It's interesting because Guru Das went to Prabhupada and told him what we were doing. Prabhupada said, okay. And then Prabhupada told Guru Das, you know, when I was in Vrindavan at the Radha Damodar temple, there was one man every day. He used to try to steal my mail. And Guru Das one time saw an old man coming into the temple yard, and he was all crooked like a hunchback. And Guru Das could see this person was experiencing great suffering. So he went to Srila Prabhupada and said, who is that person? He comes in the courtyard every day and he looks like he's a hunchback. He looks like he's in a lot of pain. Oh, Prabhupada says, oh, that person, he used to try to steal my mail every day when I was at the Radha Damodar temple. And then Guru Das told Prabhupada, there's an old woman who's also a hunchback. She comes into the Radha Damodar temple every morning with a bucket of water. She used to go to the Yamuna, take her bath, even in the winter, and bring back a bucket of water, of Yamuna water, to the temple to be used for the deities. And Prabhupada said, she is going back to Godhead because of her service to Damodar. And this other person, his whereabouts are unknown. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya aprasadat bhagavat nagati kutopi. So this is very important because many times these people say, oh, you people are just attacking people, you're just fault finding, you're just criticizing. No, this is a point of philosophy. Do not insult the pure devotee. Do not destruct his mission. Do not distort his instructions. Prabhupada was great concern. When Prabhupada established the GBC in 1970, I was in Los Angeles as a brahmachari. And I got to know one devotee who was Prabhupada's personal servant. So I had a conversation with this devotee and asked him, what is this GBC? I says, we know what a temple president is and a Samkirtan leader. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. But what is the GBC for? And he said, this is meant to carry on Prabhupada's mission and to make sure that the standards are maintained, that the deity worship goes on, the preaching goes on, and after Prabhupada departs, to make sure that Prabhupada's teachings are not changed or polluted in any way. That was their first responsibility. And what did they do? The first thing they did is totally dismantle his Bhagavad Gita. Totally. And many of them will argue, oh, Prabhupada said in 1976 about this one devotee who was an editor. But what else did he say in 1977? You can't analyze Prabhupada's statements and cherry pick what you want and reject the rest. That is not an intelligent way of analyzing the pure devotee's words. When Prabhupada says they cannot change anything, you don't have to be a PhD in English grammar to understand this. That means they means including all of them. The GBC, the editors, the publishers, everybody involved, don't change anything. When Srila Prabhupada says the next printing should be again the original way, that is not very complicated to understand either. Simply what we have to do is follow. Maybe you may want to give the floor to some other people. There's some notable people that...
We're going to finish up, but I wanted to say that when you change something, Prabhupada mentions in this lecture that I was listening to today, then where is the authority of the author? When someone else changes something, the authority of the author no longer is maintained. That's as simple as it is. You don't change anything. It's common sense. If you're a songwriter and you write a musical piece, you want the people that are playing it to play it exactly the way you wrote it. They don't say, okay, play it this way, or they even write it down in music and they say, play it this way, like Steely Dan, for example. Their music is played exactly the way they wrote it. What to speak of Prabhupada's messages, which are being spoken through him by Kṛṣṇa to all of us for our liberation. This is a complete, absolute hypocrisy that's gone on in the ISKCON group. And this is an unfortunate situation. And Dharma Bhavana, like I said, it's part of the whole pastime that we're a part of. All glories to the Sankirtan mission. One thing is, I see there was an interesting question there back up. Maybe we could read it again, Yashoda, from our devotee friend in Japan who's asking about Siksha Guru. Maybe you could make a comment for us on the differences between Diksha and Siksha, and are other people qualified to be Siksha in the Krishna consciousness movement after Prabhupada's departure?
I believe his question relates to what is the proper explanation of Shiksha Guru position. As per books of Srila Prabhupada, he has also mentioned that a person giving guidance in Krishna consciousness is Shiksha Guru. And the first part of the question, what is the correct definition of Shiksha Guru? In PDA meetings, both things have been discussed. One, a person giving guidance to a new person in Krishna consciousness is a Shiksha Guru. Two, only Srila Prabhupada is the Shiksha and Diksha Guru in ISKCON. Well, that's not exactly representing our position, but mostly. Basically, the first point, a person giving guidance to a new person in Krishna consciousness is a Shiksha Guru. And the second, only Srila Prabhupada is Diksha and Diksha Guru. I don't believe this is our position. We say that Prabhupada is the Diksha Guru as per his instruction in 1977 in July, but Prabhupada has also wanted his disciples to act as Shiksha Gurus or instructing spiritual master. There are numerous lectures and instructions from Prabhupada, how he told people, especially people who are born in India or born in Indian families, that they should become gurus and basically teach Krishna consciousness, the message of Bhagavad Gita everywhere, because they were born in that environment. It's natural for them. So that was a well-known instruction to Prabhupada, also to all of his disciples. But as far as giving guidance, that's another kind of guru called Vartma Pradarshaka Guru, giving basic fundamental guidance to guide somebody to the actual guru. Now, another thing with regard to Shiksha Guru, what we say basically is that Prabhupada is the absolute authority as far as the Shiksha of the Krishna consciousness movement. Just like in the Madhva Sampradaya, Anandatirtha or Madhvacharya is the supreme authority in their Sampradaya with regard to interpretation of their teachings. In the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya is the supreme authority in their teachings. So with us, we say that Srila Prabhupada, through his books, his instruction, his teaching, he's still the prominent current Shiksha Guru, but Diksha means also to give Shiksha. The Diksha is not just throwing some bananas into the fire and some ghee into the fire. It is the transmission of transcendental knowledge, and Srila Prabhupada is doing that every day through his transcendental books. This is a fairly lengthy topic, which we can discuss some more. I put a quotation from Srila Prabhupada from Chaitanya Charitamrita, from Adi Lila 147, which explains this to a certain extent. So basically, it's we can discuss this in more detail a little bit later. But thank you for the question. And I also see that our good friend, Mr. Garuda Prabhu, he said, if anyone can change Prabhupada's Vani, then any evil thing is possible to enter the movement. And as we've seen, this has happened. It's not that something will happen in the future. It has already happened with people inventing new interpretations. Prabhupada used to refer that as a great crack. He was very concerned about all these different interpretations. Mm-hmm. So, again, Hare Krishna. I think
Excellent.
Dr. Nilesh is also there.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll carry on for one more comment or question from Nilesh, and then move forward with the kirtan. Nilesh.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Haribol.
It is very interesting discussion about the Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, and what Yashodananda Prabhu talked about the Shiksha Guru. So my question lies is, what kind of worship or what kind of respect can a Shiksha Guru accept up to what point we know what Diksha Guru has to be. He is to be treated as good as God. But if somebody is acting as a Shiksha Guru, or somebody is giving direction to a neophyte or a very fresh person in Krishna consciousness, what kind of worship can this person accept, which is acceptable?
Okay, I can quickly respond, and then Yashoda could respond. If you're instructing people in Krishna consciousness, you're doing it to please your spiritual master. You're not doing it to receive any personal glorification, money, or respect from that person. You do it without any personal motivation, zero. And if someone tries to come forward and give you that respect, you should ask them politely, please do not give me any respect. Offer the respect to my guru, Srila Prabhupada. That is the proper mentality for people that are teaching this message of Krishna consciousness from the bona fide guru, Srila Prabhupada. All respect and honor goes to him, not to the siksha, the instructor person. This idea of teacher is a very common thing, as you know. And we can all work on that basis to help others. But as far as expecting any glorification, any honor, any respect, it should be rejected by that person intelligently and refocused to Srila Prabhupada as the bona fide Diksha Siksha Guru for everyone. We're simply ambassadors of the pure devotee. Yashoda, please.
This is confirmed in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, text 330, which Srila Prabhupada quotes a verse from the Padma Purana, Maha Bhagavata Sreshto Brahmanove Guru Nrinam Sarvesham Evalokanam Aso Pujyo Yataharihi. This verse in Srila Prabhupada's explanation is a very good explanation from His divine grace of why we worship the Guru as good as Krishna, because he's a topmost Mahabhagavata. And Prabhupada in one line in the purport says, only such a person can occupy the position of Guru, that position of absolute worship, to regard somebody as good as Krishna. And I know there's all different kinds of arguments that people say in the Shastra, Krishna worship. Here, look, here is exactly, very good, wonderful. Can you write it down a little bit more, a little bit more? Then Prabhupada says, there is one in place in this purport that only such a person can accept the position of Guru. Yeah, Prabhupada says, only such a person is eligible to occupy the post of a Guru. Now, this is the position of a Diksha Guru, somebody who is going to liberate somebody from the pangs of birth and death. That is a very high level of qualification. And we do know there's been many candidates that have applied for the position and taken that position, unfortunately, with not such very good result. It's much safer to take the position to do this as a service, to bring people to Srila Prabhupada and his pure teachings and his instructions, rather than try to take honor for ourselves. That is very important. Very, very important. Hare Krishna.
So corollary to that was, the reason why I'm saying is because when you go to certain establishments, even when you go to ISKCON Bangalore, a lot of senior devotees, a lot of people prostrate to the senior devotees and things like that. What do you have to say about that?
Well, offering obeisances to any Vaishnavas is nothing wrong, or offering a garland or sandalwood. What we're talking about is the kind of worship that Prabhupada used to get, sitting on the Vyasasanas and full artik and full Guru Puja. No, that is only for the topmost Mahabhagavata. Offering obeisances, there's nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to note, Prabhu, just as we finish up, that sometimes in the ISKCON movement, Nilesh, the Guru falls down. So Bhakti Vikash, this particular Prabhu, he says, oh, just go pick another guru. Just whimsically speaking like that, telling people, and then if that guru falls down, then go select another one. And on it goes the merry-go-round of stupidity. So this type of thing is going on. And instead of directing people to Prabhupada, he's telling them, go pick another guru. If you don't like me, go pick this other guy. This is the mistake that they are making. Instead of directing people to Prabhupada, they direct people to another fake guru or go to the Gaudiya Math. That is more nonsense. All this type of thing is part of the chaos that Prabhupada spoke about when he said the guru would leave. And here we see it. Go pick another guru like you pick chocolates out of a box. And if that doesn't work out, take another one and go on and on. This is the destruction of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya in real life, in real time. And you in Miami are experiencing it. And we all over the world are seeing it. And we are fighting against it by speaking the truth at these classes. And thank you very much. I'm sorry. Thank you, Garuda, for your comments. Very well spoken. Let's move forward. We'll see everybody on Saturday morning for Bhagavad Gita class, Sunday for Srimad Bhagavatam. Go to our Krishna Conscious YouTube channel, Hare Krishna Society. Subscribe, please. Let's build the membership. And onwards, let's march to speak the truth for the betterment of humanity into the future. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to the assembled Vaishnavas here at today's discussion and meeting. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. All glories to the Sankirtan mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you, Bhakta Ram Singh in Sacramento. All glories to your service. Haribol.